Our two-time Olympic gold medal winner, Gigi Fernandez, who will talk to us a little bit about her life and about her new business, Baby Goes Grow. Gigi?
Thank you. That's me. Oh, wow. So I thought that I would talk a little bit about my journey into in tennis and into the Hall of Fame, which I entered last year. Talk a little about success, what it takes to get there, or what it took me to get there, and then talk a little about Baby Goes Pro. So I started playing tennis when I was 3, and I used to hit the ball against the wall incessantly until I annoyed my mom enough that she gave me tennis lessons at 7. And that's me shortly thereafter with a nice outfit that my mom made for me. I excelled in all the junior categories in Puerto Rico, and I was lucky enough to be recruited by Clemson University and received a scholarship. In 1983, as a freshman, made the finals of the NCAAs. And I had a difficult decision to make after my freshman year because I had lost the finals to a girl who was ranked 27th in the world. And in my family, education is very important. My grandmother was the first female dentist in Puerto Rico. My dad was a doctor. My grandfather was also a doctor. So one of my brothers and sisters has a master's, some kind of master's than another. So even though I was out, when I decided to turn pro, I was out jet setting all over the world. I was still just always the college dropout. So I knew that the decision to drop out of school was an important one because you don't just turn back on a free education. So I ended up deciding to turn professional, and actually the decision was made by my father because at 18 years old, I was frankly not capable of making that kind of decision. It was really his decision. And the reasoning was that you can always get an education, but you can only turn pro, or you can only have a professional athletic career at a certain time in your life. So, I had a great career. I won a lot. I won 17 Grand Slams. Like, did you say all those things that I won? No? Yeah. I won 17 Grand Slams, 2 Olympic gold medals. And this one was interesting because this was 1992, and I had anger issues as I was growing up. I always had a bad temper, which I took from my grandfather. Thank you, Giorgio. And in 1992, in April of 1992, I learned how to meditate. I went to the Deepak Chopra Center here in Lenox, Massachusetts, and I spent 1 week learning transcendental meditation. And I had no idea how that would change my life. From April, I went to the French Open, which was my first tournament playing with Natasha Sgarego. We won the French Open in 92, Wimbledon also in 92. We won the Olympic gold medal in 92 with Mary Jo Fernandez. Then I won the US Open in 92, which was this, and then I won 2 more Grand Slams. So after learning how to meditate, I won 6 Grand Slams in a row, which was life-changing. Learning how to control yourself and your emotions really, truly changed my life. So you wonder how I got from that, or from this rather, a little girl in Puerto Rico into this, which is being a member of the International Hall of Fame. And there's some things that I did early in my career that young people here can probably learn from this. You need to set goals. Nobody ever achieved anything in life without setting a goal. I equate it to if you start running and you don't know where you're going, how do you know when you got there? So you have to set them, and you have to be systematic about it. You can't just say, I want to do this. You have to write it down, and I like to have short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. And I like to have attainable goals and what I thought were unattainable goals. And some of my goals when I was 19 were to win 1 Grand Slam, and then I won 17. To play in the Olympics, I won 2 gold medals. I also wanted to fly in private planes. Haven't done that one yet, but there's still time. But the point is you have to set them and achieve them and make them what you consider unattainable, because you might get them. But if you don't set them, you'll never get them. And then the last thing is don't take yourself too seriously, because it's a game. We only live once. We're here in this lifetime for a set period of time. And I actually have a funny story that taught me how to not take myself seriously, which I'll share with you. Does everybody know who Venus Williams is? Okay, you know the Williams sisters. Back when Venus had just started playing on tour, she was 14 years old, and I was #1 in the world in doubles. And usually when the #1 doubles player in the world asks you to play doubles, with them. You said, yes, absolutely. When Martina asked me to play those when I was starting, I couldn't say yes fast enough. So I was playing at a tournament, and my doubles partner got hurt. Natasha's very well, and I had like 2 hours to find a partner, and everybody in the draw was already paired up. So, you know, the only person that was around that didn't have a doubles partner was this girl, Venus Williams, that at that point nobody had ever heard of, because it was her second tournament on tour. So I go up to Venus and I say, hey Venus, do you want to play doubles with me? She goes, no. I'm like, are you sure? Do you want to think about it? She's like, no. And then I go, well, do you want to ask your dad or your agent or your coach? You want to ask somebody about it? She goes, no. And I go, well, do you know who I am? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, she didn't, to her it was like, it didn't matter, you know? So it was like, okay, well, I'm not that important, and she doesn't care, and I'm not playing that tournament, and she went on to have a great career. And it's funny because now her and Venus, or her and her sister Serena, are trying to catch Natasha and I for most Grand Slams in history. They're right on our heels. But so that's my story about not taking life too seriously. And you know, then I retired in 1997, and all of a sudden was turning 40, and I had a midlife crisis, and I started looking at my life and going, what am I going to do for the next 40 years of my life? And enter Carson and Madison. And I was on a journey to become a mom, which lasted 4 years. And you know, and I'd like to say that, and I feel this wholeheartedly, that I would trade all my Grand Slams and all my Olympic gold medals for them. They're my pride and joy, and because of them, Baby Goes Pro was born, because I had the experience that most parents, or many parents maybe here have had, where my kids started watching TV, and I was one of those parents that said my kids aren't going to watch TV until they're older because they're not supposed to. And somebody put Baby Einstein on, and I thought, oh my God, look at they're quiet for 20 minutes. I can go to the bathroom. Right? So I thought, okay, great. This is, you know, a great concept, and there's toys going around in a circle and all that. But I want them to be athletic, and I want them to be active and move. There's such an obesity problem in this country that I think it's important that kids be active. So I went looking for the DVD that could introduce them to sports, and there was really nothing out there. So for some bizarre reason, I decided to produce it, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and it's way more work than I ever thought, and it's incredibly difficult to be a stay-at-home mom and have a business, but that's what we're doing. And the DVD is, the first one's called the Score Sports DVD, and it's, we finished it in March of last year. We've had we've had good success promoting it. We were at the White House for the Easter egg roll. We produced 5 sports in the DVD, which are baseball, basketball, soccer, golf, and tennis. So all the kids that went to the White House for the Easter egg roll last year not only got to roll eggs and egg hunt and, you know, have the person and read a book to them, but they could also play all these sports. And, you know, it goes for the First Ladies Initiative, which is Let's Move. And we all have the same mission, which is kids need to be active. 1/3 of the kids in the United States are obese, and that's a very large number. Or 1/3 or 2/3? 2/3. It's a large number, whatever it is. So we all feel, I think it's 2/3. We feel that if kids are exposed to sports at a young age, that when they grow up and they can actually do sports, that they'll want to do it. So that's the story behind Baby Goes Pro, and that's the DVD that you see there. And George wanted me to show you this, but you can watch it for a little. We'll just keep it running, and that's my presentation.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have any questions. I hear you're an aspiring tennis player.
I mean, I don't know, I guess just, like, how did you deal with the pressure of all of it?
With the pressure?
Yeah.
You know, I had a good trick. Actually, first of all, I had a lot of help, because people assume that when you get to that level, you have everything that it takes, but I didn't. You know, I had a lot of talent, and that was nice, but I didn't have a mental skill set, and I had to actually work on that. So I sought the help of a sports psychologist who taught me skills that I didn't have, that really helped me how to manage my anger. But one thing that really helped me was I would put things in a box. So I had this imaginary box when I was playing, and if something really upset me, and I couldn't deal with it then because I'm playing a match, I would put it in a box. So I knew that the box was there, and at some point I was going to go to the box and be angry at it, or figure out whatever it was that was upsetting me. But while I was playing, and I couldn't do anything about it then. It was just sat in that box. So, and then the other thing, what I said about not taking it too seriously, because it is a game, and you're here in life for a purpose, and maybe it's playing tennis, maybe it's not. You don't know, but it should be fun, and you should be out there just having fun and enjoying yourself. George, do you have any questions?
I wanted to thank you very much for coming and speaking to us. We really appreciate it. And I'd only like to make the point that we're both EYESPOT and Baby Goes Pro, are really trying to do the same thing, which is to have a positive impact on society and the world. I mean, Baby Goes Pro is addressing a critical issue that you just brought up about obesity. And the fact is that by the year 2020, 50% of Americans will have diabetes. And that's a staggering number. And as you know, diabetes is the leading cause of blindness in people under the age of 45. And EYESPOT is hopefully a place where we can screen for diabetes and we can treat it in a timely fashion. So thank you for your excellent work, and thank you for your presentation.